Hey folks, I am Anand and welcome to MaverickEduCor, your one-stop solution for everything related to PTE. We at MaverickEduCor provide free consultation services to evaluate your skills and make sure to share valuable feedback to get your desired scores in the exam. For people who want paid assistance for one-on-one individual attention, make sure to contact us on the WhatsApp number or on the email ID mentioned right below. Without further ado, let's go ahead to today's class. In today's class, let's discuss more details on fill in the blanks question, which is part of your reading module. It is one of the important questions in your exam for which you should understand grammar, vocabulary, context, coupled with fast reading skills to score that 79 plus in your exam. Let's understand what needs to be done at a very basic level as per PTE. PTE says that you need to select the correct answer option for each blank in the paragraph. Meaning PTE will present you a paragraph. There will be some missing words. Those missing words will be present in the form of blanks. You will have to identify the correct word for each blank. Now, there are two question types in your reading module for fill in the blanks. First and foremost is reading and writing fill in the blanks. Here, there will be a paragraph and blanks as well. Now, for each blank, there will be a drop down. You will have to select the correct option from the drop down and then you will have to proceed forward. You will get 5 to 6 questions in your exam for reading and writing fill in the blanks. Next question type is reading fill in the blanks. Here also similarly, you will have a paragraph with blanks, but below the paragraph, you will have list of options. You will have to drag and drop each of the correct answer in the respective blanks. So here you will get about 4 to 5 questions of reading fill in the blanks. Next, duration. It is self-managed. Overall time for each question, each question that could be reading and writing fill in the blank or reading fill in the blank is self-managed. It is very, very crucial to manage your time accordingly so that you can complete the entire reading module in the stipulated time. Let's quickly look at the representational image for reading and writing fill in the blanks. Here you can see a paragraph with some missing words. Specifically in reading and writing fill in the blanks, there is a drop-down list available. Now, this drop-down list will have about 4 or 5 options. You will have to select the appropriate answer for each of the blank. Once you complete selecting all of the options for each blank, go ahead and click next for the next question type in your exam. But remember this pro tip, you have to select each of the blank. You shouldn't miss any blank if you want to score that 79 plus in your exam. Now let's look at the reading fill in the blanks representational image. Here also there is a paragraph with some missing blanks. But in this case, the answer options will be present just below the paragraph. You will have to select the most appropriate option into each of the blank. Once you complete doing this, go ahead and click next for the next question type in your exam. Moving ahead, let's understand the scoring criteria and the skills assessed as per PTE for reading and writing fill in the blanks. First and foremost, remember that PTE is assessing your reading and writing skills. Reason being, it is an integrated task. That is why they are giving you marks for both reading and writing skills. Approximately, you are getting anywhere between 21 to 23 marks. Hence, this question is very, very crucial for reading module and writing module 2. Next, let's look at the reading fill in the blanks question. Here, PTE is just assessing your reading skills and the marks that you will be scored is only for reading module is anywhere between 14 to 16 marks only. Last but not the least, each correct blank will fetch you 1 mark and there are no negative marks whatsoever in any of these two question types. Remember, if you're aiming for that 79 plus, there is very, very less margin for error. Now let's look at the best ways to crack fill in the blanks question in your reading module. Let's begin with the do's. First and foremost, skim through the paragraph to understand the context. First, let's understand the meaning of what context is all about. Context means the main idea or the agenda of the paragraph. If you read through the paragraph, you'll understand what it is talking about so that it conveys some meaning. That is what you're looking at. If you understand this, then everything becomes easier going forward. After understanding the meaning of context, now let's look at another methodology, which is nothing but grammar methodologies. You can utilize all of them that I say now, or you can utilize just one of them to solve your blanks. First and foremost, let's begin with the parts of speech. Parts of speech is nothing but a noun, an adjective, a verb, or an adverb. You can implement the parts of speech on the blank or on the word around the blank to arrive at an answer. Or on the other hand, you can utilize tenses. Where can you utilize tenses? You can utilize past, present, and future tense for the sentence that you're looking at. If the sentence is in present tense, future tense, or past tense, then you can easily find out the blank as well. On the other hand, you can look at subject-verb agreement. You can look at whether the subject is agreeing with the verb. By that method also, you can find out the blank. Or on the other hand, you can utilize prepositions and articles also, which is placed around the blanks. So these are the methodologies that you can utilize to come up with the answer for the blank. Moving ahead, let's look at another critical do or critical skill to solve your fill in the blanks question in the reading module. That is nothing but excellent reading comprehension skills will help you to solve the blanks easily coupled with vocabulary. Now, first let's understand reading comprehension skills. It is nothing but whatever you read should be understood. You have to know the meaning of it. Then only you can comprehend it or understand whatever you are reading. How would that happen? If you know the meaning of the word, which is nothing but vocabulary. If you know the meaning of the word, then whatever you read will be easily understood and digested by you to solve the blanks easily. Now let's look at another way to easily solve your blanks, which is nothing but usage of collocation in your blanks. Now, there are some words which are frequently used together to convey a correct meaning. For example, lions dash. Dash rains. Lions bark? Absolutely not. Lions always roar. Dash rains. Small rains, much rains, big rains? No, it is always heavy rains. So these are the words that are always used together to convey a correct meaning, which is called collocation. Now, after understanding all of this, you can utilize one of these methods or all of these methods to solve a blank. For example, you can just utilize context to solve a blank, or you can use a combination of context and grammar. If you ask me, I've utilized generally context and grammar, but sometimes vocabulary also comes into picture. You have to utilize all of these things together to come up with an answer for a difficult blank. So, utilize any of these methods to solve your blanks. Absolutely no problem. Now that you've understood various methodologies to solve your fill in the blanks question in the reading module, now let's understand one critical thing, that is nothing but time management. You need to efficiently and effectively manage time to solve your questions. That doesn't come overnight. You need to learn, practice, and then improve your fast reading skills. Only then you will be able to solve all of the questions in your reading module. Else, you may end up missing one or two blanks, or you will have very, very less time to solve reading fill in the blank, which is the last question of your reading module. Now that you've understood the do's, let's go ahead and understand the don'ts. First and foremost, even if you don't know the answer, never leave any blank unanswered. It is okay to take a wild guess for one or two blanks at the max. Absolutely no negative marks whatsoever. So there is nothing to lose. On the other hand, if you utilize this for one or two questions of reading and writing fill in the blanks or reading fill in the blanks, you will end up with disastrous scores. The next thing is, never predetermine or fix on any answer option without assessing all the options for each blank. A lot of you folks, while doing reading and writing fill in the blanks, you would have seen each blank has a drop down, correct? Each drop down will have about 4 or 5 options. Not every time the first option or the second option will be the answer. Sometimes people fixate on it and they will end up getting less scores. On the other hand, for reading fill in the blanks, if you choose one of the options in the first blank, and the next consecutive blanks can go completely wrong if you fix on the first answer. This has also happened to me on a personal note. So to avoid all of this, don't fix on one particular answer. Keep an open mind while solving. Fill in the blanks for reading and writing, fill in the blanks, and reading, fill in the blanks. Another thing to avoid is don't waste time solving one blank. Instead, move ahead. It's okay. A lot of us, while solving fill in the blanks, what could happen? We would get stuck at the first blank. We will try searching for answers everywhere. That shouldn't be the case. If you cannot solve the first particular blank, generally it happens in the first two blanks. If you cannot solve them in the first 25 to 30 seconds, move ahead and solve the rest of the blanks. They could be very easily solved. Then come back to the first or the second blank and solve them. It could be very, very easy because you would have already read the context. You would have understand the meaning. All of these things would have happened while you have read the entire paragraph. So never get stuck in the first blank and overthink and waste your time. Never use one method to solve the question. For example, in the do's, I've spoken about multiple methodologies. You can use a combination of methodologies or just one methodology to solve a question. Don't use just one methodology. You may end up getting less scores. Last but not the least, don't memorize on any answers or any method. First, let me talk about method. There is no one single method to solve a blank. As I've told earlier in my don'ts as well, here, there is no one method. You can use multiple methods to solve a blank. On the other hand, a lot of you will use prediction material to practice correct fill in the blanks. Let it be reading, writing, or reading. Don't memorize the question and the answers. 99.9% of the times, you will not get that particular question or the same blank in your exam. You may end up getting a different word or a different question altogether. Instead, practice utilizing all the other methodologies to easily solve your fill in the blanks questions. Now that you've understood the do's and don'ts for FIB questions in your reading module, let's go ahead and understand the generic rules of grammar. Before proceeding forward, remember, grammar plays a pivotal role in solving your blanks. So pay attention and let's see them one by one. First and foremost, let's discuss parts of speech. You can utilize parts of speech to quickly solve your FIB questions. Using parts of speech, you can identify the words in and around the blank. For the blank also, you can utilize whether it's a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb as well. Now let's understand this by an example. The dog ran fast through the tall grass. Here, what is the parts of speech for the? The is nothing but an article. Dog is the noun over here, the main doer of the sentence. Ran becomes the verb over here because it is the action that is being performed by the dog. Now, what is fast? The dog ran fast. It is acting on the verb. That is why it is called an adverb. Now, what is through over here? Through is nothing but a preposition. Okay? Tall grass. Now, let's identify what is grass first. Grass is nothing but the noun over here, the grass. Okay? How is the grass being described? Whether tall, short. So, tall is nothing but a adjective. So, these are the parts of speech for this example. Moving ahead, let's understand subject-verb agreement. Here, the subject-verb agreement means the subject, which is nothing but the noun, has to come in agreement with the verb. As simple as it gets. Now, in case of where there is a singular subject, you will generally have a singular verb. In cases where there is a plural subject, you will have a plural verb. Let's understand this by an example. Here, the dog is running fast. The dog, here, the dog, it is nothing but singular subject, is running fast. Here, the verb is nothing but running. It has a is. What is? Here, it is a helping verb, which is nothing but a singular helping verb. Okay? Next, the dogs are running fast. Here, the dogs. There is multiple dogs. That is why it is called plural subject. On the other hand, are running fast. Running is nothing but the verb again. What is are? are in this case becomes a plural helping verb. So that is why you have are. You cannot construct a sentence which is grammatically incorrect. Something like the dog are running fast. You cannot say the dog are, because it is a singular subject. It has to be always is. Or you cannot say the dogs is running fast. You cannot say like that. It is completely incorrect. It has to be always the dogs are running fast. So this is all about subject-verb agreement. Next is verb tenses. It denotes the time of the action. In simple words, it is talking about the past, present, or future actions. Basically, let's understand this with an example. Here, the dog runs fast. Here, the dog runs fast. It is talking about the present action of the dog. It is runs fast. Okay. Now, the dog ran fast. Something that has happened in the past, ran. Here, that is nothing but ran. On the other hand, for future, what would it be? It would be the dog will run fast. Will. That is the word that denotes it is the action will happen in the future. Okay. The dog will run fast. So this is how you can differentiate the verb tenses in the form of present, past, or future. After understanding the verb tenses, let's understand the verb forms, which is nothing but V1, V2, and V3. You would have heard it all over the internet. What is V1, V2, and V3 all about? Let's understand them. Now, it means the verb is modified to suit the tense of the sentence. You can modify the verb to come up with a perfect tense for a particular sentence. Now, what is V1? V1 means simple present tense, which is nothing but base or root form of the verb. What is V2? V2 means simple past tense of the verb. And V3 means past participle form of the verb. Past participle form of the verb. Let's understand all of this with an example. Here it says, I want to go to Australia. Go here is the verb, which is present in the simple present tense or the base or root form of the verb in V1. Next, I went to Australia. Simple present tense, went, happened in the past. Here, went is the verb. Next is, I have gone to Australia. Here, gone is the verb. But if I say, I have went to Australia, it is absolutely incorrect. In this case, in the V3 form, you will always have an auxiliary verb or a helping verb. Here, the helping verb is nothing but have. Have is the helping word for the verb gone. I have gone to Australia. This is what is all about V1, V2, and V3 for the verb forms. Now, for the blanks, you can utilize any of these methods or all of these methods to quickly solve those blanks. On the other hand, remember, these are generic grammar rules. English language has a lot of exceptions. To understand all of them in detail, stay tuned for more videos on grammar. Alright folks, now let's look at an example. Before going there, I hope you have understood the do's, the don'ts, and the basic set of grammar rules. Now, this is the question. You can pause for 2.5 minutes to solve this question and come up with answers. Else, you can continue watching this video from now. Now, let's look at the example. Here, it is a paragraph about Roman architecture. It could be an indication that something has been done in the past. So you can expect some words that is there in the past tense. Now let's go ahead and solve the question. Now let's look at the first blank. Roman architecture is renowned for its grandeur, innovation, and influence on subsequent architectural styles characterized using concrete arches and walls. Roman buildings dash advanced engineering techniques that allowed for the construction of massive structures. So the first blank would be something like the Roman buildings used advanced engineering techniques, right? So it's something like used. So always it should be used is what would be a verb. So here also, if you see all the blanks, the options for the blank is ending with a ed. So straight away, you can guess that it is a verb in V2 or V3 form, which is a regular verb. Now, here to identify with parts of speech, let's look at this word. It says buildings, which is nothing but a noun straight away. It could be tall buildings, short buildings, Roman buildings, Italian buildings. So what is this Roman? It is an adjective. Okay. Now let's look at few other words after the blank as well. Dash advanced engineering techniques. So here in this context, engineering techniques become the noun, and advanced engineering, both of these words are adjectives. Okay. So here, if you see, to identify the parts of speech, this is how you can come into a conclusion. Now coming to the blank, I have already told you it should be a verb. Now, which is the best word that will fit over here? Okay. Can we take displayed over here? Roman buildings displayed, advanced engineering techniques could be a very good option. Now, what is embodiment? We will park displayed. Okay. Now, what is embodiment? Something that you personify something. So, absolutely embodiment will not fit. Showcased, that you display something. Again, very closely matched words. Okay, let me keep this as well. Now, viewed. Viewed is something that you see. So, viewed will not come into picture at all. So, two words gone out of the park. Let's see these two words. Which is the best fit? Now, what is displayed? Displayed means displaying something. A mobile screen displays, the TV displays this, or in a cinema theater, the cinema is displayed. All of this in that context fits properly. But if you take showcased, the weightage between showcased and displayed becomes less meaningful over here. So vocabulary is the way that you can find out the answer as well. So showcased is something that they have already built and you're looking at it, right? That is why showcased will be the answer over here. So showcase will be the first blank. So this is how you can arrive at using multiple methodologies. Say something like, to identify what could be the word. It could be whether it is a verb or a noun or an adverb or an adjective. We used what? Parts of speech. Next, we use the vocabulary with the help of the context. So this is how I arrived at the word showcased for my first blank. Moving ahead, let's look at the second blank. It says, one of the most iconic examples is the Colosseum, an amphitheater that could hold thousands of spectators and hosted various public events, including gladiatorial dash. So it should be something like a gladiatorial event, something like public events. Okay, now let's look at the options. The first option says fights. Fights is what? You fight between one another when you have a enmity. So that could be something like a right fit, because if you have seen the movie Gladiator, you would have seen people wielding swords against each other. Basically, they are fighting when they're wielding swords. Okay. Now, next, disputes. What is the basic concept of dispute? Something like a legal battle. Obviously, gladiators don't do legal battle. They wield swords against each other. So, dispute is the incorrect word straight away. Challenges. So, it could be a word that you could use here. Challenges, basically, what does challenges mean? Something that you are telling that, I will fight against you. I'm superior. You're inferior. All of these things happen between, each of them. Then they challenge each other that I have this much of power. You have this much of power. All of these things, right? They challenge to a fight. Next, what is contest? Contest means something that you do for a prize money, or you do it for a prize. Here, if you know some, small details about history, gladiatorial fights happened for some prize money. The movie that I had mentioned, the Gladiator, it was more of drama and things. So, but the actual context over here is contest. So here, contest was something that was fought for some prize money. Obviously, why would fight happen? Fight would happen when you had enmity. So fight is the incorrect option. What is a challenge? Where the gladiators forcefully made to challenge each other? Absolutely not. They always fought for some prize money. That is why contest would be the right fit over here. And why did I come at contest? How did I arrive at contest? It was basically based on the context of the paragraph and vocabulary. This is where you can utilize the power of vocabulary as well. Let's look at the third blank. It says, the Romans also excelled in constructing dash which transported water over long distances, demonstrating their mastery of hydraulic engineering. Okay. Now, the Romans also excelled in constructing. Don't stop over here. Don't stop reading over here. Continue reading after the blank as well, which transported water over long distances. Now, something they have built to transport water, something like a pipeline kind of a thing. Now, the clue is in constructing. Okay, what is in constructing? Something, an object that is constructed. So you have to look for that object, what they have constructed. Let's see the options. Let's go from the back. Now, what is a dam? Dam is something that can conserve water. So dam is not the option. It is something that you preserve water. So dam is straight away ruled out. What is a tunnel? Tunnel is something that you dig between two mountains to make way for a railway line or a roadway. Basically, this option is also ruled out. Tunnel is somewhere underground. Okay, so that is why this option is ruled out. What is an aqueduct? What is a viaduct? Now, aqueduct means something like a channel or a canal that is used to transport water. This is where vocabulary comes into play. But what is viaduct also? You should know the meaning of that also, right? Vocabulary. Viaduct is nothing but a bridge which you construct over a valley. Okay, tunnel, underground, bridge, above the ground. So a viaduct is a bridge. Okay, so viaduct is also ruled out. In this case, aqueduct is the correct option. You should know the vocabulary between viaduct and aqueduct. So this is the answer. Let's look at the fourth blank. This architectural legacy. Which architectural legacy? What architectural legacy? What is this? What is this? Right? It. If there is a it or this, you have to read from the previous sentence to understand the complete meaning. So let's read from the previous sentence. Roman architecture emphasized symmetry and proportion, reflecting the ideals of beauty and order. This architectural legacy has profoundly dashed modern design with elements like arches and domes still prevalent in contemporary buildings. So, has profoundly impacted, inspired. So, impacted, inspired, both are ed. If you see all the other options in the blank, they are also ending with ed. Straight away, it is a verb. Now, you have to find out which is the answer, correct? You have to use vocabulary over here. Let's see. Okay, induced. What is induced? You would have, read in your school days that you induce current without touching it. That is what is called inducing something. You cannot put some ideas and then, that is not the correct, vocabulary over here. So, induced is completely ruled out. Next, influenced. You are influencing something that you are, somebody is taking some good ideas from you. Influenced could be the word. Now, next, guided. What is guided? You are telling somebody to go in this direction. They are following it blindly. That is what is called guided. So, guided is ruled out. Help. Did anywhere in the paragraph, did you see that, Romans took help from this people? Roman took help from Greeks, Italians, anybody? Absolutely not. So, helped will not be the word, correct word. In this case, influenced will only be the correct word. Let's look at the last blank. Here it says, the enduring impact of Roman architecture is evident in cities around the world where its principles continue to dash architects today. Continue to. Whenever you see a blank after the word to, remember, it's always V1 in its base form, meaning the verb in its base form. So straight away you can eliminate two options over here. Fascinated and aspired. Both are in its V3 or V2 form. Okay, straight away you can eliminate it. The only two words that remain is instigate and inspire. First, let's see what is instigate. Instigate is you provocate somebody to fight. So instigate, straight away you can eliminate, and the only remaining word is inspire. To inspire, V1 form, that is verb in its base form. So inspire is nothing but a verb. So you can utilize grammar methodology to easily solve this question. Now let's look at all the answers together. Let me erase this off. Now the answers are nothing but, the first one is showcased. Okay, showcased. Second one is contest, something that you play for to win a prize money. Third thing is aqueducts, something that is used as a channel to transport water. The fourth blank is influenced, inspired by something. The last one is to inspire. Okay, that is nothing but in the verb in its V1 form. So these are the answers for the reading and writing fill in the blanks question. Let's move ahead and look at an example for reading fill in the blanks question. For people who want to solve this question independently, you can pause this video for 2 minutes and then come back to look at the answers. Starting from now, this is the question. You can pause the video. The easiest way to identify blanks in reading fill in the blanks question is to identify the parts of speech in your answer options. Let's straight away go and identify them. What is enhance? Enhance is improving something. So it is an action. Over here, it is in the base form V1 plus S. Okay. Next is enhancing. Again, if you have already identified enhances is a verb. Next is enhancing, which is in a present continuous form in V1 plus ing. So here also it is a verb. Okay. Next, pursuing. Pursue. You keep on nudging somebody to do something, right? That is an action. So here also it is V1 plus ing in the present continuous form. So this is also a verb. Next is theoretical and practical. To easily identify what parts of speech it is, you can think of examples in your exam. Okay. Now the dash, knowledge, the theoretical knowledge, the practical knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is nothing but noun, the dash knowledge. So here something is giving more information about the noun, which is nothing but adjective over here, right? So both are adjectives over here. This is how you can easily identify. What is emphasize? Giving importance. Again, some action which you are doing. So emphasize is also in its V1 form. Okay. Next is pursues. You've already identified that pursuing is a verb. So pursues will also be a verb in V1 plus S. Okay. Next, highlight. The dash match. Okay. The highlight of the match. Okay. The highlight of the match. The highlight. Easily you can consider it as a noun over here. Next is chasing. The dog was chasing me. It's an action that is being performed by the dog. So that is why this is also a verb in continuous form. Now that we have identified all the parts of speech for the answer options, let's straight away head into solving the blanks. Here you can see the parts of speech which I have written it down in the same order. Now let's begin with the blanks. Vocational training provides individual attention with the dash skills. Over here already I had told you, right? The dash knowledge. Something similar to that. The dash skills. What is the article? What is skills over here? Now, what should come? What is giving more information about the skill? Here, adjective has to come. So, how many adjectives are there over here? 2 adjectives, theoretical and practical. Which adjective can you put? Let's wait and proceed forward. For now, just consider it as an adjective. Okay. Next, dash skills and knowledge needed for specific users. Unlike traditional education, which often focuses on dash concepts, it is not always that the dash should come, the dash skill should come, or the dash concept should come. Here also, it is nothing but, concept is nothing but a noun and on is a preposition. Okay. Here also, what is giving more information about the concepts? Okay, the concepts, it is nothing but an adjective over here. See, there are 2 adjectives over here. So, which one to put where? We will continue reading to understand more context about the paragraph and then come into a conclusion about these 2 blanks. Let's move forward and look into the third blank. Now, by identifying the parts of speech for the, answer options, you have eliminated the 2 adjectives that were present and there is 1 noun. Rest all are what? Verbs. So mostly the rest 3 blanks will be generally verbs or just 1 noun. Okay. Now proceeding forward, vocational programs dash hands-on experience. Now what is vocational programs dash hands-on experience and real-world applications? Vocational programs, the programs. What is programs? Noun. What should come after a noun? Generally, as per parts of speech, I mean, depending on the structure of the sentence, generally a verb should come over here. So, the answer would be one of these verbs. Now, let's proceed forward and then look at the fourth blank. These programs cover a wide range of fields, including healthcare, automotive technology, and culinary arts. By combining classroom instruction with practical training, vocational education dash employability prepares students for immediate entry into workforce. Here also, if you see vocational education dash employability. Now, what is education? The education, which is nothing but a noun. Similarly, over here also you had seen that as per, sentence formation, as per parts of speech, generally what comes after a noun? Here also a verb should come after a noun. So let's identify that verb after solving the fifth blank. Now let's look at the last blank. This approach not only meets industry demands but also supports individuals in dash rewarding and sustainable career paths. For this fifth blank, right, if you try to identify the parts of speech, what is individuals? The individuals, which is nothing but a noun. Next is what? What is in? It is a preposition, right? In dash, it is if you read the sentence, you can easily understand something is continuing in its action, right? V1 plus ing. V1 plus ing, something in the present continuous tense. So, something should come with V1 plus ing. Now that you've identified which parts of speech should come in each blank, let's go ahead and see which word should come in each blank. Now, for the fifth option, over here it is always V1 plus ing is what we, decided upon. How many INGs are there? Enhancing is there, pursuing is there, and then chasing is there. Right? What is chasing? Something that you run behind something, right? That is what is called chasing. Could it be individuals in chasing rewarding? Absolutely no meaning over here with regards to context and vocabulary. The other two remaining is enhancing and pursuing. If you see, in terms of collocation, you pursue your career paths. You don't enhance your career paths. You always pursue. This is the clue over here, right? That is why you can straight away go ahead and put pursuing as your fifth blank. Moving ahead to the fourth blank, we have already identified a verb should come. Now, as per context, what should be the exact word? Let's look into it. With practical training, vocational education, dash employability and prepare students for immediate blah, blah, blah. So, it is improving something. What is the synonym for improve? It is nothing but enhance. Okay, the word which could be used over here is, from the options is enhance or enhancing. Now, which word should be used over here? Is it enhances or enhancing? As per subject verb agreement, after the subject, meaning after the noun, you cannot put an ing. So, ing can easily be eliminated, which is nothing but enhancing can be eliminated. The word that you can use over here is always enhances. Vocational education enhances employability. So, this is your fourth option. Now, let's look at the third blank. This third blank is also very similar to your fourth blank. There is a noun and then there is a verb which is a blank. Correct? Now, let's identify the word. Here you can eliminate theoretical and practical. They are adjectives. The remaining, verbs are nothing but emphasize and pursues. Highlight is a noun. You can straight away eliminate it. Now, as per context, what is a verb? What is a word that can come? Either it should be pursues or emphasize. Now, if you see vocational programs, dash hands-on experience and real-world applications. So, vocational programs is giving some importance. What is a synonym of importance or important? Something that you emphasize on. So, that is why this third blank will be emphasize, not pursues. Pursues means to nudge somebody to do something, right? So, that is why you can straight away eliminate this word. All right, folks, let's identify the first two blanks. Both of them are adjectives over here. Which adjective should come where? That is what we need to identify. Now, if you have read the paragraph, there are clues present everywhere. For the first blank, straight away, you will find one clue which is very near to the blank. It's somewhere over here, right? Vocational programs, dash hands-on experience. Vocational programs emphasize hands-on experience. What is vocational program? If you don't know what vocational program is all about, here you have the clue. Vocational programs gives importance to hands-on experience. What is hands-on experience? That is nothing but practical experience. So this will be your first blank, and next blank is an adjective which is nothing but theoretical. So theoretical concepts. Always concepts are what? Concepts are something that are theory based. So that is why straight away, even if you don't know how to identify these two blanks in terms of, context, you can straight away put the second blank as theoretical because dash concepts, theoretical concepts, and the first blank is practical. So these are the answers for your fill in the blanks question in the reading module. Now let's quickly look at the answers which we have already discussed. I'll be erasing this off. The answers are nothing but with the practical skills on theoretical concepts. Vocational programs emphasize hands-on experience. Vocational education enhances employability in pursuing rewarding and sustainable careers. So these are the answers for reading fill in the blanks question. All right, folks, now let's look at the recap with golden rules. First and foremost, reading and writing fill in the blanks will give you the maximum amount of marks in your reading module, followed by reading fill in the blanks. So please concentrate on these two questions to grab maximum marks for your reading module. Next, effective time management skills is very, very important to solve all the questions in your reading module. Remember, I have already told you that, the duration that you consume for each question has to be self-managed. How would you self-manage it? For reading and writing fill in the blanks, I would recommend you to utilize anywhere between 2.5 to 3 minutes. If you complete before 2.5 minutes, it's completely fine, absolutely no problem. But if you can consume anywhere between 2.5 to 3 minutes is the maximum time that you can utilize per question in your reading and writing fill in the blanks. Now, for reading fill in the blanks, please consider consuming less than 2 minutes time to solve each question of your reading fill in the blanks question. Next, excellent reading comprehension with the ability to read fast, which is nothing but skimming. I've already told you that you need to possess the skill. You need to develop the skill, meaning you need to practice by reading a lot of novels, books, newspapers, articles. Only then you will develop the skill of reading and understanding the context. Coupled with fast reading skills, you need to read it fast to understand the context as well. Only then you can solve your fill in the blanks in less than 2.5 to 3 minutes easily. I'm telling you, very, very easily, you can solve the fill in the blanks question. Next, you can utilize one of these methodologies or all of these methodologies to solve your blanks, which is nothing but context, grammar, vocabulary, or collocation. You can utilize any of these methods. Next, never memorize a method or an answer. I'm sure all of you will be practicing about the prediction questions. Don't look into those prediction questions and memorize the answer or question. Instead, I would always recommend you to practice the principle, whatever you're applying, whether it is grammar rule or context or vocabulary or collocation. You need practice and implement them instead of just memorizing something and in the exam you will go and put or select wrong options only and you will end up getting very less scores. So don't do that. Instead, implement the principle, whatever you have learned so far. Next, don't determine the answer. Instead, search for clues before selecting the appropriate answer. For example, you would have seen, right, in the reading fill in the blanks, what did I tell? If you put a wrong option in the first blank, you may end up having a domino effect for the rest of the answers. So, always remember, never predetermine or fix on any answers. Always search for clues in the paragraph itself. I'm sure PTE will give you a lot of clues. You should open your eyes and identify those clues. That is all. Last but not the least, no negative marks, but committing mistakes or leaving any blank unanswered will lead to 0 marks for that particular blank only. Okay? Now, there is no negative marks whatsoever. PTE will not give you negative marks. Instead, if you leave the blank unanswered or if you commit mistakes, if you select a wrong option, only then PTE will give you 0 marks. That is all it can do. That too, especially for that particular blank. Approximately, as I told you earlier, you will get about 1 mark approximately for each blank. So, these are the golden rules for your fill in the blanks question in the reading module. Alright folks, we have come to the end of this video. In case of any doubts or any queries, make sure to contact us on the WhatsApp number or on the email ID mentioned below. Additionally, you can leave a comment. We will be there to answer all your queries. On this note, I would encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more such engaging videos. All the best in your exams.